This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
I think I can share the story here now. This is not going to hurt anyone. Colin showing up to practice, been out having a little fun the night before.
Oh, no doubt.
And I could smell it.
You can't hide that. You sweat it out.
I said to Colin, you're a fucking asshole. Listen, we have a game on Saturday and boom, 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 boom. He said, oh, don't worry, man. I said, you don't do that. Maybe you can off-season when we have a bye or whatever, but it's just a few days till the game here. I said, you're fucking letting everyone down. I said, don't worry about me. By far, the best player on the field Saturday night, Aurelian Colin. But I remember his message to me when we came in the locker room. I sat down, came and kissed me in my forehead and said, do you still love me? Yeah.
MLS Cup Playoffs are here. A clean slate. 3 losses in a row. I can't even hear you, Thad. Shut up, Thad. So all I know is Sporting Kansas City is the 3 seed in the Western Conference, facing off with the Vancouver Whitecaps this weekend. Joining us on the pod is Cindy Lara, the newest member of the Blue Testament, the current Kansas City correspondent. Aha. Cindy, welcome. How are you doing?
Good. How are you all?
Doing well. It's playoff week. I thought I would get that excited, but he's just sitting there with his hand on his face, just looking at some stuff, not listening.
Were you talking?
Before we get too deep, can we just appreciate Thad's never-ending pun? His whole paragraph of dad puns about the NWSL. Am I the only one who appreciated that?
You're the only one that read it.
I read it. Thank you very much.
It was right in his wheelhouse. That's all. That's his strength right there, are the dad puns. And so he got to just reel them off like that. It was good stuff.
Shook my head a lot, but I read it.
Yeah. As you should, exactly.
Well, that's what he does when he reads my articles. So, anyway.
Cindy, thank you for joining us. How about you give us some background? You're the newest member here. Tell our listeners about yourself, how you came to be a Blue Testamentite.
Yeah, so basically I think it was close to a year ago, actually next month, where the Utah team just went goodbye. And then Kansas City got an NWSL team. Well, they regained a Kansas City team. And so at that time I was with RSL Soapbox, helping them cover the Utah Royals FC side of things. And then once I found out they were returning to Kansas City, I said, I need to continue this. And then I think somehow I got connected to Thad and went from there. And so
we saved you from an affiliation with RSL is what I'm hearing.
Basically, it was.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It was torture for 2 years.
So are you in Utah?
No.
You are in the Kansas City region, or at least near it now. Okay,
yes.
cool.
The greater Kansas City region.
The greater, yeah.
Right.
2.5 hours away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So let's just start off. There's obviously plenty to get to. The game this weekend, we got season awards are released, and the national team is playing. We got a Dos Acero. We'll probably save that one for later. But I wanted to start off with Alan Pulido. He's seen that has to be a good place to start this discussion of the playoffs here. Do we want him back? Will he be back? There's so many questions. The team posted some video of him in his shorty shorts. The shorty shorts are back. They're hiked up and he's training. He looks good. But so yeah, he's training again. With that, do you have any? I know the press availability is open Tuesday. We are recording this Monday night, which has always plagued us. But so we might get some more info on that tomorrow. But Thad, will he play?
I don't think he'll start, but I do think he'll play. But a lot of that will depend again how the game state is. Sporting's up 3-0. I don't think he comes in unless it's just some garbage minutes to get tuned up at the end.
Will he be effective if he plays?
50-50? 49-51?
Yeah. David, where are you at on Alan Pulido right now? Do you want him to play?
Kyrie Shelton has not been great lately.
Right.
And the whole, Kyrie played bad, but the team keeps winning trope doesn't work when we're not winning. I don't know who else is going to be better up top than Alan Pulido.
Yeah, so that's what makes this conversation so interesting is that 3 weeks ago, or let's just call it a month ago, we would have been talking on this podcast. Oh, who even needs him? The team with Kyrie Shelton up top is playing so well, and it's efficient, and shots are getting off, and they look so good. But yeah, the last few performances from Kyrie Shelton have just changed that entirely, and it went from man, we can beat anyone on any given day to man, I really hope the $10 million pays off and this guy can just come in a little bit cold and do his job. What do you think, Thad?
The last 3 performances from everybody has been not so great.
That's true.
Johnny's not played a lot. He's been hurt. Midfield's been a little weak. I mean, that leads to a lot of it too. So Kyrie hasn't been at his best the last 3 games, but far from putting the blame on him for that. He's just one of the many symptoms.
Bob, how are you feeling, man? Jump in here.
Well, if you want to look at stats, and Dave's a sideline hint, maybe you could look it up because I haven't found it yet. But it was published, our record with Pulido starting and compared with Shelton starting, and it wasn't complimentary to Kyrie, even though there's this narrative that we have this great record with Kyrie starting. But that stat that I saw blew that out of the water. But I mean, I totally agree with Dave. We are a better team in many ways with Alan Pulido on the field. So, yeah, I think Vermees is going to pull a fast one, actually. I think he is so burned by last year's playoffs that it seems like what he's been doing with Issy, what he's been doing with Pulido is make sure they're ready for the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pulido start. He may not, he'll go a half, maybe more, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him start either. And like you just said, I think he doesn't want to make the mistake he made last year. And that's exactly what happened. He wanted, I don't even think you can say he looked past Minnesota for those playoffs. And that's why he didn't start Pulido. It was just, they tried to play him in the lead up to the playoffs and it wasn't working. And so he maybe wasn't all the way there. So yes, I think the goal for the last however many months now has been to get him ready for this game. So I kind of do. I agree with that. I kind of do think Pulido is just going to get run out there. I expect to see that. Cindy, where are you at with Alan Pulido? Are you on the train? Is he going to save us? Is your savior here for the new season that is MLS Cup Playoffs?
I think so. Yeah, I do.
You better be right.
I'm only saying that because I'm partial to Pulido because he's my Mexican friend.
Right.
But I do think he is highly effective when he's there, but I don't know, returning that's going to be, it's going to be something to watch and see. So I think that's where kind of like, how's he going to do?
That's the whole question on if he's on the pace of play or not. But that's where I was getting at earlier is, that's why we spent this $10 million, right? Isn't that the point of this? We need the best player to be the best player when we need him. And, I think that there are other guys in this league that are, the $10 million men that can come in and have that impact without being slowly led into it. And this is, I don't like being that talking head on a sports show that's like, this is his moment, and challenging this guy and saying it's now or never. I don't even like being that sports radio guy, but this is a huge moment for Pulido if he can come in and put the team on his back in the exact moment that we got him for.
Well, and I don't know that even necessarily means that he needs to bag a brace or hit a hat trick for us to win. But if you were to look at the numbers between Pulido and Shelton, I mean, they are markedly different per 90. Pulido's in the 73rd percentile for forwards, for goals. His passing stats are off the charts. He's in the 90th percentile for passes completed, 86th for passes attempted, 98th percentile for pass completion. And you compare that to Kyrie, and everybody talks about how Kyrie's, big, his lack of scoring is made up for by how well he holds the ball up. And I'm one of the people who will say, I think that, he can hustle, but,
this whole show, we're a very pro Kyrie show here for sure.
But Kyrie's the 11th percentile in passes completed, the 7th for passes attempted, 81st for pass completion percentage. And on top of it, he's in the 24th percentile for goals per 90 for forwards. So, I mean, the difference in quality couldn't be clearer. And that's fine for Kyrie when he's able to incorporate Daniel and Johnny. Johnny's been hurt. Daniel was hurt and is coming back. And it's just, we haven't had that same magic over the last month. Kinda's been in and out. And so I think, I don't know that we can afford to not play Pulido.
So that's a good point. I guess this doesn't necessarily need to just be an Alan Pulido segment, but just an injury segment. And David just brought up Gadi Kinda. Where are we at with him? Can we expect him to be back? Or is Thad waiting on the press availability tomorrow before we have any information on that?
We have to, because we have no information on that unless somebody saw him in one of the videos. And I actually haven't looked at the videos that closely because I've been doing too much other stuff. So
the state of MLS is just crazy.
So David, when you were talking Pulido, did you mention the turnover stat?
I did not.
Yeah, if you look at turnovers, and this really stood out to me, Kyrie Shelton has 98 turnovers in his time on the field, which is very comparable to Gadi's time on the field. And Gadi only has 76. And you see Gadi, he does lose the ball in midfield a lot. And that's
Gadi's in the midfield. That's different too. Gadi's
right, but I'm just looking as far as minutes go. And then you look at Pulido, minute wise, he only has 27. He only has 59 turnovers compared to the 98 for Kyrie. And the average of turnovers per 90 for Kyrie is almost twice as much. So holding up the ball well, yeah, he does it sometimes well, but more often than not, I've seen by the eye test too that he doesn't.
Yeah, and so David touched on the fact that Pulido comes so deep to get the ball often, and that can make me that gets me annoyed a lot. I want this lethal scorer in the box anytime the ball might fall to him. But I think with the progression of both of the wingers this year, now that Sporting Kansas City has perhaps the two best wingers in the league, definitely the best winger combo in the league in MLS, then yeah, if Alan Pulido and his creativity, because we know he is pretty good at that, if I'm more than happy with him coming up into the midfield, into the center circle, to get the ball if he's going to dish it to Johnny Russell, who can give it to Shallowy to score. Like if they're firing on all cylinders, then like you said, David, we don't need Pulido to come in and bag a brace. We need him to, come in and be a connector.
Well, and that's really it, is if Alan can create space with his movement, if he can drag a defender across the field, he's got the ability to hit that lethal pass, right? He's got the ability to hit that through ball to thread the needle, or open up space so that Roger, who once a year can hit a great pass, again, can hit one of our wingers, and get them in space. I think the stat was that Daniel and Johnny combined had more goals and assists than any other wingers in the league, and they were, I think, level with Albert Rusnak and Damir Kryalak from RSL, who play some positions. Cindy might know better than I will what the Salt Lake people do, but ability to move the defense around the field even without the ball, I think is going to be critical for us, because tactically Vancouver's playing a very Italian 3 at the back, and so they're doing what Seattle does. It's the 3-4-2-1, and so they've packed the midfield. They win a lot of challenges and duels in the midfield, and then they've got 3 center backs essentially to pack things in. They're going to try and make it compact and tight and difficult for us to get shots, which is why they've outperformed their XG on the defensive side. And so it's crucial for us to be able to move those guys around, get them out of position so that Daniel and Johnny have a chance to get in behind and be able to get a shot off.
So how about before we get into the actual game this weekend, and because it sounds like everyone here is on team start Pulido this weekend, let's go around and see which of you think Peter Vermees will actually start. But hold on, Bob. Bob, you have one more thought here?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I agree with what Dave is saying about him moving off the ball, but I think a very important aspect also is Pulido's much better at making something out of nothing in front of the goal, as opposed to Kyrie's ability to do that. So I think against the Whitecaps, who do battle so hard in the midfield, a scrapper in front of goal is going to be beneficial as well.
So David, will Peter Vermees start him this weekend, or will he go with Kyrie?
He starts.
Robert said he starts. I say he starts. Cindy, will he start?
Yes, he starts.
Thad Bell.
I don't think he starts.
I knew. That's why I ended with you. I kind of knew you were not on board with this conversation. Why will he not
said it
start?
Earlier? Just because he's not fit.
Because he's not fit. And
Yeah,
Kyrie is.
Not because he's a better player. Not because Kyrie's a better player. That's not anywhere in the argument, right? Because I don't want anything of what I say in defense of Kyrie to sound like, oh, he's the better starter. He's not. When Pulido is healthy, he's clearly the guy who needs to be starting. But if he's not 45-minute fit, 60-minute fit, I doubt that Peter starts him. At least that's just not his history. I mean, he's done it a few times, but he's much more likely to start him on the bench and then bring him in when he sees fit. Might be at half, might be at 60.
Well, everyone make sure to follow Thad's Twitter feed, because he will be at the press availability and he'll let everybody know. So check that on Tuesday. Everyone will probably be listening to this on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So check Thad's Twitter feed for an update on Alan Pulido. Any final thoughts here? Are we missing any injury thoughts here before we move on to the game?
Well, going back to the fact that we really didn't talk about Kenda very much, him missing is also during that time that Sporting did not play well. That's a key thing too, is that speed.
He clearly was.
So that combined with everything else in the 5 games close together, all that added up to the last 3 games not being so good.
So yeah, Thad, stop complaining about 3 losses in a row. It's a new season. It's a new season here in the playoffs. So just leave it, man. Stop being so negative.
Well, so I'm also worried about whether Jose Mauri is healthy or not, because I have a theory, and amongst my friends, which we stole from some radio host.
David has a theory.
You can say whatever you want as long as you start with, I have a theory.
Yeah.
Remy Voltaire, and the people listening to this won't see my air quotes.
I was going to say he air quoted that. I wanted everyone to know that. He air quoted the man's actual last name.
Well,
yeah, I was
that's not how I spell Voltaire. When he plays further up the pitch in one of those dueling 8 roles, he's actually shown a pretty good ability to string passes together and to actually be somewhat dangerous around the box. The further back he plays, certainly the less dangerous he is. He's less likely to be getting forward because he's he's the pivot, and doesn't play the metronome 6 like Ilie or Yuri Rosell used to, but he's so much further back the pitch. But his time playing that 6 the last few games directly correlated to Maori being hurt. So if Maori gets healthy and we can play Remy further up the field, I think that can mitigate any issues we have with Gotti's health.
The metronome 6. That is brilliant.
So isn't Ilie's position dependent upon Ismat Marin playing? It seems to be that pattern.
I think it does. If Izzy's healthy, if Maori's healthy, if Kinda's healthy, what is your starters if you're doing it?
Hold on. That's a good tease. The next segment, we will be back and we will talk about the Vancouver game and if everyone is healthy and our preferred lineups. So we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool that helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/Pixel NBA. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
All right, MLS Cup Playoffs. Let's take a look around the bracket. New England, of course, has the bye. The 2 seed Philadelphia Union versus 7 Red Bull New York. The Red Bull New York. See that? I nailed it. I didn't pluralize it that time, guys. The 3 seed Nashville versus the 6 seed Orlando. That is on the 23rd. And then we have the 4 seed New York City FC versus 5 seed Atlanta, who somehow got in there as the 5 seed. So yes, that is it for the Eastern Conference. The Colorado, of course, the real sneak in at the top of the Western Conference gets the bye. 4 versus 5 is Portland in the 4 seed versus Minnesota. Sporting KC at the 3 seed versus 6 is Vancouver. And the number 2 seed Seattle versus RSL as the 7 seed. So we're looking at, should we win this match, we should be facing Seattle or RSL. Both of those will be a shit show no matter what.
But we would have 3 days more rest, which is nice.
We would have, there you go. We would have 3 more days rest. Is anyone else, before we get into the Vancouver game here, is anyone else on the same boat as me, as just desperately praying that RSL beats Seattle so we don't have to play them? I want no part of the karma that we built up in literally throwing one of their players down to the ground and getting away with it. And
it was a gentle judo throw. It was not violence.
No, it doesn't. It seems that all seemed too good to be true. They'll never take that from us that I got to watch Timmy do that. But it seems like just karma is not gonna go our way here.
Wait, didn't karma happen in the RSL game?
Right. Really. Yeah. It's all good.
I'm hoping that was it. I'm hoping that was cashing in on the bad karma there.
But come on, Cody, if you hate Seattle fans, don't you want to see them crying in their beers and going crazy on their sounder site and whining after we beat them in the playoffs? Don't you want to see
I
that?
do, Robert, but I don't want them to see me crying into my beer in those playoffs. I don't want them to see that.
Come on, man.
I'd be fine watching them cry into their beer after Salt Lake beat them too.
Cindy, sorry, you were trying to say something there.
Sorry.
Are you want to avoid Seattle like I am?
Oh, I just have a hard time believing RSL is going to beat Seattle.
I know.
I mean, we can hope for the best, but that's just.
They only snuck into the playoffs because of that fluke, the handball that wasn't, and then they went down to the other end and scored a lucky goal that got in. So yeah, you're right. But hey, this MLS going MLS, so anything can happen at this point.
So how's the Galaxy doing, by the way?
Yes, the Galaxy did not happen to crawl into 7th place into the playoffs like they always do.
Well, you know what's going to happen. The Revolution are going to lose. Colorado's going to lose their conference semifinal. We're going to make it, and we're going to host MLS Cup. Come on.
Sporting got to walk to host MLS Cup. I love it. All right, so let's just get into we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? We should probably just talk about this Vancouver game, the 3 versus the 6. Does anyone on this show, this is never our forte here, previewing matches. We like to say we're going to preview a match, and then we just don't really talk about it at all. We talk about injuries, who's available, and all that. So is there anyone on this show capable of giving us 1 minute on the Vancouver Whitecaps? David, how about 30 seconds? David, can you do 30 seconds on the Vancouver Whitecaps for our listeners to get ready for this game this week?
They're in Canada.
Sure.
So they're in Canada. There we go. That's 2 seconds out of the way.
There we go. So Vancouver fired their coach midway through the season. They got rid of former Swope Park Ranger coach Mark Dos Santos.
Old friend Dos Santos. Sidebar, where's he at? Did he get hired? Where's he at? He's a good coach.
Not yet.
No? Okay. Anyway, sorry.
They hired, I think he was like a youth academy director, Vanni Sartini, who's very Italian and seems lovely from his interviews on Extra Time Radio. But so they've been playing a 3-4-1-2, 3 at the back with Florian Youngworth playing that central role. And then across the kind of the midfield, that midfield 4, it's Tybert and Owusu are the 2 mainstays through the middle.
Did you say that guy's name right, or is that a fine? Tyder?
Tebert.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pay a fine. I was talking about an entirely different human being.
I mean, it could have a French pronunciation. I'm not an expert. And then the one, their kind of playmaking Scotsman, who is almost as good as our Scotsman, wearing a different tartan though, is Brian Gold, who has been really pretty good, especially the second half of the year. And then up top, they've been playing a front 2 of Christian Dahome, who's got a lot of speed and pace, and then Brian White, who is a New York Red Bull cast-off, but has had a really great end of the season. I think he's finished with something like 6 or 7 goals over the last handful of games. Set up 2 assists against us the last time we played them. But the reality of playing Vancouver is that they muck things up through the middle by having so many guys kind of in that central midfield area. They really challenge you through the midfield third. But the problem they have is that they can't really convert. Their offense is still really bad. So they're, I think, 23rd in the league in goals created from open play, or I guess XG per 90 minutes. So, they're winning these midfield battles, but then it's really kind of a hope and a prayer as to whether or not they're going to be able to put balls past the keeper. And if you look on this hot streak that they've been on to end the season, it's a lot of 1-1. They level with LAFC. They drew 1-1. They drew Seattle 1-1. They beat Minnesota 2-1. But one of those own goal, they beat us 2-1, which were, I wouldn't say fluky goals, but certainly not high XG, not great chances. They drew San Jose 1-1. So they're not creating a lot. Now, the counter to that is we don't have an amazing defense, and we can be susceptible to pace. But the real key to this game for us to be successful is winning those midfield battles. It's going to be Voltaire or Mauri or Ilie or Gotti or whomever is available, and starting to play with some bite and some tenacity and to be able to break the lines and get the ball ahead of the forwards. And you just arms up like it was 1 minute. Did I do the thing?
Look at that. Look at this guy. He even gave us some key battles to focus on. Oh my gosh. We've just the Shades of Blue has stepped up to another level.
He's used to BSing though. He's a lawyer.
Okay, so let's talk about the key battles that you were talking about there. Key battles in the midfield, you said. But who is going to be that midfield? To get back to the conversation we teased there at the end of that last segment. Thad, if everyone is healthy, actually, sorry, this was your question that you were posing. Who would you like to pose this question to? If everyone is healthy, what is that preferred midfield?
You, Cody.
Me? Oh, okay. If everyone is healthy, if everyone is healthy, then I want Ilie at 6 instead of on the back line. And then I'm putting Voltaire in front of him and Gotti Kinda in front. I say in front, halfway in front, whatever. In those 3 midfields. That's my midfield is Ilie, Voltaire, and Kinda.
Anybody else?
I can go. Okay, so I think if midfield is going to be a big battle, what we might do is try to bypass that as much as possible. So with Ilie at the 6, he can drop back into the middle with the back line and play those longer balls. So that's something that's a good option, I think. And then Roger's going to be a battler. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Vermees start Roger if it's going to be a physical battle in the midfield, winning balls, probably him and Voltaire. And if he wants a last second half offensive spark, depending on Gotti's health, Gotti might be that guy, or it's going to be reversed and Gotti will start and Pulido will be the spark that he puts in the second half.
Yeah, so I can see either of those being a wonderful second half substitution there. Gotti Kinda or Roger Espinoza coming off the bench would just everyone's heads would just get set on fire at that point. So yeah, I mean, I could see Roger and the experience and all that getting the start and having him just kill himself for the first 55 minutes of the game, and then you can bring on Voltaire, who's been playing pretty well as well. Cindy, what's your preferred midfield?
That is way too advanced for me.
Who's your who in the midfield are we fans of here?
Oh man.
That's gotta be, I mean, are you Voltaire or Roger? How about that one?
I like Roger, but that's just me.
Yeah, this is a very pro Roger podcast.
Yeah.
Here.
I'll go Roger.
David?
I will be the contrarian. I would prefer to see Roger come in as a super sub.
Yeah.
I think it's important because Vancouver lacks creativity. I think it's important for us to get a lead early, because if they get an early lead, they can bunker, and we don't break teams down that well. They'll filter everything out to the wings. We'll lob cross after cross after cross into back three. If we can get a lead early, and I think with creativity, Kinda, and Remy Voltaire, then we sub Roger in late, and he can help kill off the game.
Robert, were you just screaming at something your dog did, or was that at something David said?
No, I just hate when that scenario, if it happens, that we have to lob crosses in. That hate that idea. But no, I totally agree, David. Early goal is critical for sure.
No, Sporting Kansas City should never resort to lobbing in crosses. That sounds like an absolute nightmare that never works.
It does.
It does. I guess we got Issy out there. Issy seems to be a good target for crosses and set pieces, but not in the run of play, I guess.
Yeah, not in the run of play. And we actually don't know how great he is at it. I mean, we know he's tall and he can jump, but we don't know how well we haven't seen him enough to know that he's actually good at it.
Right. We know, well, yeah, he's tall and athletic, and we seem to have targeted him on some set pieces in his limited time here. But that's about all we know about it.
Yeah, just keep going short corners.
Tall and athletic, though, is enough to immediately shoot you to the top of the pecking order on who we target on the board.
Yeah, that's not exactly a product coming out of the academy. Is tall and powerful.
Okay, so I do want to talk about just the MLS season awards that are in discussion right now. But is there anything else we're missing from this game? Is everyone feeling optimistic? Is there anyone that doesn't think we can win this game, or that thinks we're going to lose this game? Oh no.
It's the hope that kills you.
It's true.
It's the hope. Yeah. I'm very hopeful and optimistic that we'll be healthy. I'm worried that we're going to try and get cute and not play our best 11, and that we're going to go down early and on just some fluky, nonsense goal. And then we're going to spend, 75 minutes chasing the game against a bunkered, back line.
If there was a prop bet that I could put real money down that they would score a goal in the first, that Vancouver would score a goal in the first 5 minutes, I would 100% do it.
There probably is, isn't there?
Where can you do MLS prop bets? Where does one do any MLS betting? Isn't this supposed to be legal by now? What happened to this?
Yeah,
it's on the website, man. It's on the website, isn't it?
Totally legal.
Okay.
Just ask. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Well, here's one way I look at it. Last year we didn't have Pulido. We didn't have a Shallowy that we have this year.
Or Kinda.
Or Kinda. We didn't have Issy last year, and I see Issy better as who was the other guy? Center back we had last year.
Punchek?
No.
Puncic.
No, the English guy.
Reed.
Winston Reed. Yeah. From England anyway. And we didn't have Graham Zuzi. So I just see that making a big difference that we have the lineup that we do, assuming Kinda's going to be able to play.
Winston Reed, what a vibe that was. Cindy, you were about to speak up there. You're not feeling confident about this game?
I'm hopeful, but they just haven't looked very good the past few weeks. And
hey, haven't you heard me tell Thad to shut up? We're not talking about it. It's a new season now. It's a clean slate.
I'm sorry. I've been covering Kansas City Current. I'm a little deflated right now, but
yes, off season on that regard.
Off season, yeah. But yes, I think because it's at home, there's that. But I think that's why I'm optimistic.
I feel very. I don't feel good. Like I said, I think they're going to go down early because it just seems like that's what Sporting KC does.
On a back pass to Pulse Camp.
To Pulse Camp. Amelia's not even starting this one. You're that pessimistic? Amelia's not even starting?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Okay, good.
Although didn't he just have his wife just have another baby?
Yes.
We did.
So
good.
Lack of sleep, man. That'll get you.
Wait, that's real. Amelia has had a new baby, and he's gonna be running on less sleep. That is a valid point, Thad. Thank you for bringing this up.
Gonna be the Mahomes syndrome, yeah.
Oh God.
But he's back now, man.
I think one important thing for us is that as good as Ryan Gauld is, he's not one of those dynamic game-breaking 10s that like Minnesota has, or peak Diego Valeri, or Luca Zelarayan with Columbus. And I think the league has shown that that's one of the keys to succeeding in the playoffs, is to have a dynamic 10 and kind of a at least serviceable, if not, and number 9. And so they don't really have a guy who pulls strings per se. They don't have like a, DP Argentine number 10. I think that benefits us. And it's also why I'm praying that Portland knocks out Minnesota.
Our number 9 is better than their number 9.
In a sense, David, you're kind of saying that Vancouver's attack's a little predictable, and I agree with that too. And I think our system will just win out in that situation.
All right, before we get out of here, let's just talk briefly about the MLS and Sporting KC season awards. I thought it was funny. Mike was pointing out how, for whatever reason, Sporting Kansas City did not want Gianluca Busio's amazing free kick in the running for goal of the year for Sporting, but it is one of the finalists for MLS goal of the year, and Sporting is helping that get pushed along and wants you to vote for that as well. So just a weird thing there, but yeah, we're Shallowy is up for is a finalist. Little brother is a finalist for MVP. That's a real life thing. It's happening.
And for comeback player.
Yeah.
Thad, what do you got?
I was just say like Sporting didn't include him in their goals of the year, but MLS did. So Sporting was kind of going Husio.
Oh no.
Well, no, this makes total sense. I have a theory. Do you want to pay for shipping that plaque to Italy? Like, do you want to have to pay for DHL to get that to them in Venice?
Oh God.
Let the league pay for it.
Or do you have Sporting Kansas City, this multi-million-dollar corporation worried about shipping a plaque to Italy?
Hey,
God,
you don't stay rich by wasting the money, man.
The Cerner team is running this business for a profit here, so I guess he's right. We should definitely consider this possibility.
They could just hold on to it till he shows up with the national team again, though.
He's not going to win it anyway.
What will win the goal of the year? I actually haven't looked at any of those other ones. What is the front runner for that one?
I like Darwin Centero's individual brilliance.
I do know that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one probably deserves it. Set pieces are good, but some guy in a beer league can do a good set piece one, you know? Like
Madronda's goal is pretty impressive, but yeah.
Yes, Jimmy's long range one. Yes, I'll root for that one for sure.
There's a couple of bicycle kicks in there. I think one stands out from the rest, but there's a couple of them in there.
Is Daniel Shallowy on this list for MVP as just a filler, or does he have a chance?
No chance.
No chance. You got to go
He
with
should have a chance, but he has no chance.
Unfortunately, you have to go with one of the players on the so-called legendary season that New England Revolution have had. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to acknowledge that the East is even good enough to give them the credit that they've been getting for this. The season that they've put together, it'll be one of the Revolution guys.
And if Shallowy's last 3 games had been better, he might have had a chance, but they weren't. So
I voted for him.
Good job. We should everyone go vote for little brother.
If we had won the West,
right,
he had finished first or second in the Golden Boot, and had gotten beat by somebody who takes PKs, and Daniel, had the most non-PK goals or whatever, I think he'd have a good chance for it. But the league's decided Carl's heel was going to win the MVP, 3 months ago. He literally played for like a month, and they still decided, he never dropped from their power rankings. So this is the guy who deserves to win.
Yeah, they kept pumping that every chance they got, man.
So, David, are you along the theory of the more people see something, the more they start to agree with it, no matter if they really agree with it or not?
This is America, Robert. Are you not paying attention to what's been going on?
Yeah, I feel like there's some political subtext one way or another there, and I want no part of that.
Don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.